The verdict is in. Former Hollywood film producer Harvey Weinstein has been found guilty of a criminal sex act in 2006 and third-degree rape of a woman in 2013. He could face up to 25 years in prison. Now, Weinstein was handcuffed, taken into custody until his sentencing, which will happen on March 11th. Weinstein, though, was acquitted on the two most serious criminal charges against him, predatory sexual assault and first-degree rape. Each carries a sentence of life in prison. Let's bring in Fox News judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Good to see you, Judge. Thank you. The Manhattan prosecutor. Let's talk about Cy Vance first of all. He only got 2 out of 5 convictions. He wanted 5, and he got 2 of those. So do you think he's disappointed?
I'm sure he's disappointed, but as you saw from his press conference, he's going to try to make the most out of this. Remember, he was dragged kicking and screaming. I exaggerate a little. Even to bring these cases before a grand jury, because he had been caught up in this event where Weinstein's lawyers had been making contributions to him. He knew that these lawyers were representing Weinstein at the time.
Didn't that compromise?
Of course it is, and he dropped charges against Weinstein. Not these charges, but other charges, and he was red-faced over it. And as a result of that, he eventually said, okay, I'm not going to take campaign contributions from any lawyers who are representing people that my office is prosecuting. In the Weinstein case, it was too little too late. So he got a victory on 2 counts. But he was using, for the first time, a novel statute in New York. California has the same statute, which says if you can prove a rape within the statute of limitations, and you can prove similar behavior at any other time, in this case the similar behavior which alleged to have occurred in 1992, that's a long time ago, then you can find the defendant guilty of predatory sexual activity, which is the life in prison. So they failed at that, and this was their effort to use it. The prosecutors in California are going to attempt the same charge against him once he's sentenced here and then transported by marshals to Los Angeles.
Gary.
Hey, Judge, this is Gary. So this dirtbag's going to appeal. Does it matter that the serious charges he was found not guilty of, does that help him in his appeal, or is it completely separate?
I think it's irrelevant. Because he was acquitted, the state cannot appeal that acquittal. So the only 2 appealable charges will be the 2 for which he was convicted. And quite frankly, even though there were some odd aspects of the case, I'll tell you about it in a second, the evidence of guilt in those cases rises or falls on the credibility of the victims, and the victims tolerated a withering cross-examination, and the jury believed them. Let me tell you what's odd about this case. I've never heard of a rape case investigated by the police for 5 years where not a single cop testified. No detectives testified. It leads me to believe that there must have been a breakdown between the prosecutor's office and the police, because they always want police to say, yes, that's what she told me. Yes, that's what she told me. Yes, this is the evidence that corroborates what she said. None of that came in.
It sort of seemed as though the jury wanted to say, yes, this man needs to be punished, but maybe there was some credibility about the witnesses because he should not go to prison for life. I mean, is that a way to interpret the results?
Yes, I've been trying to interpret, You never really know unless you get in the jurors' heads. Trying to interpret verdicts in criminal cases for 45 years. Sometimes jurors make a compromise.
Yeah.
They know what the penalty is. They know by these 2 convictions and 3 acquittals, he's facing 25 years in jail. He's 67 years old and he's in bad health. So this is the moral and perhaps legal equivalent of a life term.
2 questions. One, what do you think the sentence will be? And what do you think, what happens when you appeal it? Does that mean he's out of jail for that period of time? Or what happens when you go through an appeal?
I think that the sentence will be between 20 and 25 years, and he'll have to serve, if he lives that long, he'll have to serve 75 to 80% of it. He will not be out of jail. He's incarcerated immediately. He will technically be out of a New York jail in a holding facility in Los Angeles, because that trial starts in 2 months.
So what's the appeal part?
The errors that the defense said the judge made in the trial here that produced the 2 convictions. It'll be 2 years before the appellate courts.
Go ahead, Steve.
Hear that appeal.
I was just asking, because he is old and in such frail health, I wonder if, a 20-year sentence is basically like a life sentence for someone like that. Would the judge take that into account in the sentence? And the other thing is, can you just explain to me what the difference between first-degree rape is and third-degree rape?
Without getting too graphic, one involves entering the body, and the other involves just touching the body. Both against the will of the victim. How long is he going to be in jail? Look, he threw himself on the mercy of the court this morning and begged, through the mouths of his lawyers, to stay in his home during the sentencing process, and the court said no. I don't think this judge is going to show him much mercy, Steve.
Judge Napolitano, great to see you.
Pleasure,
Thank
guys.
you for being here, Judge.
No matter what we talk about, it's
I loved having you here.